Alright, hello everybody, C3 here. You may recognize this laptop from a much older video that I did. This would have been a video about Linux Mint 17 XFCE on this particular, I don't remember exactly what the model is. I think it's an LT2016U. Yeah, Gateway LT2016U. It's a notebook. It's absolutely tiny. I think this is a 8 or 9 inch screen size. I'll correct myself in the editing. I'm going to do a different video on this because I have better ways to test this and better ways to use it now. Now, let me just flip it over. We have 3 compartments here. We have our hard drive compartment here, a RAM compartment, and what I assume is the Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get these off, reveal the contents, for my own personal reference and for yours. Alright, so here's the Wi-Fi. It's Qualcomm. You can see that in the bottom right hand corner. 27238 und PI. Looks to maybe be the model number. So that's that. We'll remove this RAM cover. Alright, so we got a 1 GB PNY DDR2 module in there. Only one of them. I don't think there's one on the keyboard, but I shall stand to be corrected on that. And now our hard drive. Alright, here's the hard drive. It's an 160 GB Hitachi Lapstar, or whatever the hell. Specific model number is HTS 545016B9A300. 5400 RPM. SATA 3 GB. It's a pretty fast drive, despite its speed. Yeah, I've had other 5400 RPM hard drives running the same things that have been much slower. Most of them happen to be Seagates. Not too many Western digital laptop drives have ever been installed in anything by default, I don't think. I don't really think they're that popular anyway, so. This laptop would have originally shipped with Windows XP Home Edition, it looks like. There might be some specific gateway sort of OEM model on there, but yeah, it looks to be mostly just Windows XP Home Edition. I don't even think you would be able to do Media Center Edition on this because of how light everything would have to be in order to get it to work properly. Yeah, this was an interesting time in computing. Not a good one maybe, but an interesting time anyway. So let's get the battery out. All you have to do is release that latch, release the other latch over here first, so it's unlocked, and then should just pull back like so. Now I think this is a replacement battery pack, but I don't really think there's any way for me to know that. Maybe you can get something out of that model number there. But yeah, as you can see, maybe, is a Gateway KAV60 according to the back label. Takes 19 volts at 1.58 amps. I don't actually have what would be considered to be the original charger for this. I have this, which is 19.5 volts at, God, what is it, like 4 amps or something? And the amps don't matter, what matters is the volts. So the adapter fits and works perfectly with this laptop. So yeah, it's a huge brick, of course, but, you know, it works for the application, don't it? So what I'm going to be showing here is, I'll show off the Windows XP side of things. I didn't install much of anything on the XP install. I need to really get that thing set up. I'm not going to probably do that just yet. I've got this little flash drive here, which has Debian net install on it. So what I'll do is get rid of the Linux Mint and put Debian 9 on there. So that may be an interesting sort of thing. So yeah, let's boot this up into Windows XP. You can see the laptop come on. There's our post. And here's the grub menu. As you may be able to see, Linux Mint 17 XFCE 32-bit. That's going to be the one thing that I forgot about this. This has the 64-bit image on there. I definitely need to put the 32-bit on there. This is a 32-bit CPU, I'm pretty sure. So you can see Windows XP starting up. Now, see, just look how fast that was. It was incredibly fast. This has an option for both 3G and Wi-Fi. So what I do is I just turn the 3G option off because no. This has LibreOffice 5 on here, it seems. Now, I did type something on this. I don't know why I did that. Maybe because I didn't have great options back then, but yeah, it's here. It's got my name on it. And LibreOffice, and that's it. Don't know if I installed Service Pack 3 on this. Yeah, I did install Service Pack 3. What I don't know... Okay. I don't know. I think I may have installed Service Pack 4 on this. I think version 2014 means that, but I don't really know. You can see the 0.99 gigs of RAM there. It's supposed to be 1 gig, but you know. It's an N270 CPU at 1.6 gigahertz that's soldered directly to the board, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Let me see if maybe this is a 64-bit CPU after all. Alright, so finally got into that. Sees our boot drive right away. That was a really big and long beep. Let's see if it'll actually install. Okay, I guess it's gonna work. Well, that was surprising. I do need to plug in the network cable. So, scratch what I said about needing the Ethernet cable. I forgot that the wireless chip in this doesn't actually need external firmware like others do. So I can just straight up use the Qualcomm wireless right away. I'm going to enter in the network key and I'll get right back with you. Alright, so it's going right away. I don't think I have IPv6 enabled on the network, so let's just cancel that. Yep, there's our DHCP. So we'll call this LT2016U. Let me set manual focus here. Alright, so we got that entered. Not going to put in a domain name. How do you think that that's focused? Alright, so there we go, got the root password in. Okay, so now my username and my password. Alrighty. Now what I'm going to want to do is erase the XFCE partitions, Linux Mint XFCE partitions, and then replace them with these. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so we'll do manual. Now I want to use that as the root partition, and we're going to format it, and we're done setting up the partition. We're going to make that our swap. Alright, I think that's about right. So we'll finish and write changes. We'll write those changes to the disk. Okay, so this is going to start installing. I'll come back when it gets to the thing where you install packages, task cell. I'll come back when it's at that. Alright, so here it is. I'm not going to do the Debian desktop environment, I'm going to do XFCE, and we're going to get rid of the print server because I don't need that. That was quick, so just going to wait for that to download and install, and we'll be back when it's done. Okay, so that took a really long time. Installation's complete. I'll give it its first boot, but I'm not going to do much of the configuration tonight because it took quite a while and it's kind of late. Look, you can see my face. Alright, so here we go. We got our Windows XP, our Debian. So we'll go into just regular Debian. Oh, okay, this is the hardware clock's incorrect. It's definitely part of it. Alright, so we'll get that default panel config up in here. There she is. XFC desktop. And all of the 1024 by 768 goodness. No, not even. It's 1024 by 600. Even better. Alright, so I have some things set up. It's the next day now, of course, but I have a lot of stuff set up, really. I'm on the Linux side of things right now. I've got Pale Moon up on this monitor. I've got my 21-inch Apple CRT plugged in. And what it's got running on it, if I zoom in here, it's got HTOP running on the right. You can sort of see the CPU usage up on the top middle-ish there. We'll get a better look at that. And on the other side, we have what's part of Intel's Intel-GPU-Tools package. This is Intel_GPU_top. And if we look deep into the settings for this thing here, or just the, stuff coming out of it, we got a lot of stuff that we don't really necessarily care about. But it does tell you all what's using the GPU. But we're mainly focused on that one up at the top that says render busy. I think that's a pretty good gauge of how much the GPU is actually being used. So, for this first part of the test here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the secondary monitor, and we're just going to watch this Linux Tech Tips video on the main monitor. I'm not going to watch it for more than like 10 seconds. I'll turn the sound off too so we don't get copyright struck. But, so I'm going to disconnect the secondary monitor. There it is, nice and seamless. We won't know how much that secondary monitor affected anything there for now. But all I need is this stuff. I'm going to put it into full screen. We're running in 360. Oh, no, we've autoed to 480p. Alright, so I'm going to change that to 360p because, of course, YouTube has to change its own resolution without me consenting to that. I did a little bit of testing beforehand, and what I've noticed is the video will lag when all these UI elements are up. So when it has the title and the scrubber up, it tends to lag a lot more than when it's just watching the video. So let's go ahead.
What is it about gaming laptops that really gets you fired up?
Don't know if you can hear that,
Flashy, angular designs, maybe the thick, cool
but sound's working.
battery life, and
So if we get some motion in here, yeah, you can see in 360p it's working perfectly fine. All of the motion's pretty fluid. The quality's not great, it's 360p, but what are you gonna do? So let's throw that back to the beginning and we'll try out 480p. Alright. So we'll just wait for that UI to go away. So the motion's looking pretty fluid in 480p here. Not a lot of frame drops going on that I can really see. So now we'll go one step above. We'll try 720p. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that this laptop's not going to be able to do full 1080 anyway. Not that it matters because the screen is like way below that. Which is why you'd choose an external screen if you could. But let's just make sure the sound is okay at this high resolution.
what is it about gaming laptops
And
that
it is.
really gets
Oop, bit of render there. Sorry, my internet's not amazing. Yeah, so you can definitely see that there's a lot of frame drop going on now. In addition to the stupid render. Because of course there would be. Actually, I don't think that was my internet there. I think that was the the thing struggling to render on the computer. Yeah, so this is definitely struggling to render in 720p. So, oh, screen's gone black. Yeah, so 720p is looking like a no-go there. So what I'm gonna do, seems to be restarting rendering for some reason, which is really strange. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw this back down to 360p. I'm gonna plug the other monitor back in, get the Windows set up, and see what kind of usage we're getting out of the GPU and CPU with those various resolutions. Alright, so things are a little small. I think I'm actually just going to lower the resolution on that secondary monitor. I'm going to lower it to like 1024 by 768 so we can actually see what's on the screen. But you can see I got both of those windows up there, and if I do anything, the render busy does get quite busy. We'll go down to 1280 by 1024. It starts out at, or its maximum resolution is 1600 by 1200, so it's quite a big monitor. It also supports refresh rates up to 85 Hertz, but I set that down to 60 Hertz because I don't really think the GPU works too well with that. So, now that we have our bigger looking windows, just got to get these guys snapped in correctly. Alright, so now, as you can see, we've got our CPU usage up in the, up there. It's a little hard to see the color. I don't know if I can fix that. Let me do a little bit of messing around with it. Alright, so the brightness and resolution on that monitor are about as high as they'll go. So basically what I'm going to have to do is tell you guys what the CPU percentages are, because I'm not going to be able to read them out. You may be not able to read them, so let's get the mouse onto the correct screen. So you can see we're pretty high in RAM usage as well. Kind of happens with a 1 gig stick like that. Alright, so we just maximized the window. CPU usage bumped up to 90% there. Render busy didn't go too high, around 40%. So we're going to start the video now. Alright, so this is at 360p. Our CPU usage is hanging around 60 to 65%. Our render busy seems to be varying from around 40 to 50%. With moderate action on the screen, it kind of jumps around a little bit. Yeah, we just went up to 51% there, I saw that. Going through the LTT intro right now. Doesn't seem to be having much trouble with that. You know, we're going through his intro ad. Yeah, so CPU's hanging around 70%, 60 to 70%. Render busy is not that high. So I'm going to scrub that back to the beginning of the video, and we're going to change it up to 480p. Alright, so the resolution's changed to 480p. We got up to 90-ish% on the CPU there. Waiting for it to buffer. Okay, gonna start the video. Alright, so the stuff on the screen's gone away. Frame rate's pretty smooth now. Hanging around 96%, 80 to almost 100%, 85 to 100% on that CPU. Render busy's gone up to like 60%. Going through the LTT intro again, we're around 50 to 60%. CPU's hanging around 85. Yeah, so I don't think, maybe in a video where there's a lot going on, it might have some trouble, but I think it's handling that pretty well. So now, let me go ahead, and what I will do, switch it up to 720p, which we've discussed does not work very well. So, let that render. I think what you can expect is the CPU to go up to pretty much 100% instantly. So, just waiting for it to render in. Okay. Gonna start it up now. Alright, so we're playing the video. You can see CPU usage is right up there. Actually, that's really strange. Huh. That's really weird. It doesn't appear to be using all of the resources. There, maybe it's using all of the CPU there. Going through the LTT intro now. It's quite choppy. Everything's jumping around like crazy. CPU's like coming up and off 100%. Probably it's just falling behind. The render cycles are not huge, which is surprising. It's actually quite a bit lower than the rest of the resolutions, probably because it can't really handle what's being thrown at it. Now, I know another YouTuber likes to do tests with VLC media player when doing YouTube playback sort of things, but I tried that. I tried it with a bunch of different video codecs. I tried it with, I don't know, a lot of stuff. I don't know if there's a way to change the resolution of VLC, but maybe it was just too high, but the video was so unbearably bad. It was 720p as we watched it on the screen here, but like 10 times worse, so I'm not sure if it was trying to play in, let's see what this video goes up to. Okay, so it goes up to 1080p maximum, so I don't know if it was trying to play in 1080p or what, but it was not good. So maybe I'll have a play around with that and see if we can get that to work a little bit better. Alright, so here's VLC with resolution set down to 360p. It goes lower to 240p, but I'm not putting it down to that. If I can do 360p in a browser, it should work in VLC, right? Yeah, not so great. I'm pretty sure this is in 360p. Yeah, look at that. That's just great. You can see the usage over here. The GPU usage is much higher, closer to 70%. The CPU usage is about 70% as well. So that's, you're not getting that payback from that GPU when it should be rendering in this VLC video. It's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on there. Alright, so we're restarting to do a couple things here. I downloaded the USP Universal Unofficial, or just Unofficial Service Pack 4 version 3.1 update. So we're going to install that on this Windows XP thing. And then we'll do virtually the same tests we did on Linux and see where we're at. Do think I need to install some drivers for this, so I'll have to find those. But for now, let's just open this and we'll get that installed. Alright, so there was a little bit of a change of plans here. We could not get a version of Pale Moon for Windows XP, but there's a fork of Pale Moon called New Moon. That's just Pale Moon, but Windows XP mod, basically. So we'll just get right into the video here. So as you might be able to tell, let's get some motion here. Even with on full screen and the UI out of the way, it's still pretty choppy on 360p. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking Windows XP is not gonna work out so well here. Alright, so we got Task Manager open while we watch the video. We'll see how much the CPU usage jumps up. Okay, now that's quite strange. There's almost no CPU usage here on 360p. Okay, I did a little looking as to why that video may be lagging, and you know, no video controller driver installed. Alright, so we got that driver installed. Let's see how much more smooth this is. So in full screen it's not that smooth, but if I come out of full screen here and put it in theater mode instead, well, I guess it doesn't want to go into theater mode, but if I play it like this, perfectly smooth. Probably might be able to just jump right up to 720k doing that. Let's try it. Missing options? Ah, right. Okay, so this, I forgot this new Moon thing doesn't have very advanced video codecs by default. So yeah, it looks like 360p is going to be the only option there. I could download the extra codecs, but I'm not going to bother. This might be different in something like Firefox. But I don't like Firefox. They spent like an inordinate amount of money to remove the word slave from their code. There's a problem with that. So I'm going to install VLC and try that. Alright, so here we are with VLC on Linux. Or not on Linux, I'm sorry, on Windows XP. Now 360p, default codec options. Look at how smooth that is. That is infinitely more smooth than YouTube and Linux VLC. Alright, so we've kicked it up to 480. Actually, you know what, we should probably, let me reopen the stream. Alright, so here we are, 480p. That's really smooth as well, only 50% CPU usage. So, it looks like VLC on Windows definitely knows how to utilize the GPU better, which, you know, isn't saying much. I did try and look for the same Intel GPU tools that are available on Linux, but they're just not there. I couldn't really find them. So we're going to go jump into HD 720p. Okay, so here we are in 720p. Oh, okay. Had a little hiccup there, but I think it's working. I think most of our problems right now might actually just be caused by my internet. So that's really smooth. Alright, so let's go. Alright, so here we are starting the full HD stream. Ooh, and VLC crashed. Okay. So besides that odd crash there, it sure looks like... Oh, hello. Okay. Some hiccups here and there, but it looks like, with not all that much trouble, VLC can play full HD video on this disgusting Intel Atom laptop. Meanwhile, the Linux version couldn't even do 360p. That's pretty funny. Alright, so I think that pretty much about wraps it up. I didn't really try many other websites, but I don't really use much else. I look at Wikipedia sometimes, but, you know, I think a pretty good indicator of whether a computer's going to function or not is whether or not it can play YouTube videos. What's been decided is that it can't in New Moon, probably because of a codec issue. But in VLC Media Player on Windows XP, it is perfectly fine. The GPU acceleration probably helps out a lot there, and it only hangs around 60% CPU usage while playing full HD video, so that's pretty interesting. Now, might be able to install Windows 7 on this. Don't think so, though. I'm pretty sure the drivers only go up to Windows XP, but I wouldn't want to anyway, because this only has 1 gig of RAM, and that's not really enough for Windows 7 at all. There do exist 4 gig DDR2 SODIMMs, but they're like $70 on eBay. So, I'm not getting those. And, there's only so much you can do with this laptop. But hey, she functions well with Debian. You'd get all the modern apps on Debian as opposed to XP, but you would suffer a little bit more in the video playback department, especially in VLC. But in Pale Moon, you get roughly 480p, pretty smooth as long as you don't plan on doing anything else. I wouldn't use this as a daily driver, ever. But, the usage is there. It seems to work pretty well. You can do writing on it. LibreOffice, I got LibreOffice. You can put probably a whole bunch of other things on here, but, I wouldn't do any games. And I'm not either, but, yeah. I think that's going to be about it for this. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave some suggestions on how to improve the video, and as always, leave a thumbs up or whatever you want to do, I guess. Bye-bye.